This service-based business had a massive problem. They needed to get detailed services information from over thousands of images into their new system, but they couldn't afford to have staff spending weeks of manual data entry. Welcome to our very first case study where I show you generative AI in action and its practical applications. And in this video, we're talking about the Elixir Aesthetic Center, a beauty and wellness chain that has 44 locations across the Philippines. To give you more context, this chain offers a core set of services since they are in the services industry, but they combine these services into hundreds of unique packages with different price points, inclusions, and other things across all their locations. And when they got this new system to manage their clients, it ended up becoming a huge problem because they needed to transfer all of their offerings into their database so that their staff could register clients and add and track treatments. So manual data entry was out of the question. This is where generative AI technologies come into play. Using large language models that has multimodal capabilities, it could easily analyze, extract, and interpret all of the contents in the images to solve their problem. Of course, we could just use ChatGPT and manually extract all of the data, then copy-paste the text, but that would take time as well. Though you could probably use optical character recognition, then maybe find a way to process all the extracted text. However, this approach wouldn't work well due to the variations in layout design, offer structure, and other edge cases. Instead, I built a streamlined solution using Python and a large language model to automate the entire process, and this is how I did it. First, I gathered all of their images on their Facebook pages. To do that, I use a web scraper and another Python script to automate the process. This is the final output of all the Facebook pages and their images properly named and dated. Next is the AI engineering part. I decided to create a two-step process for this that starts with text extraction and transformation of those texts to SQL queries that match their database schema. Then I tested this process on a handful of images first to make sure it worked, tweaking my prompts along the way until it got the output and format that I want. Finally, I set up a system to process multiple images at once. Basically, we're just extracting text from the image in a specified format which will then be converted into SQL, turning what would have been weeks of manual work into less than a day. What I'm going to do now is just copy-paste all the SQL queries and execute them on their database. I did this one branch at a time until everyone's data is fully migrated. And these were the final results. 9,100 images were collected and processed, so a total of 1.3 gigabytes of images. The total estimated cost would be about $100 to $150, and the time saved conservatively would be about a few weeks of work. It is worth noting that the LLMs wasn't perfect. I did have a few hallucinations. I verified and corrected the entries myself, estimating about 95% accuracy. For example, when processing images with buy one get one free offers, the LLM sometimes doubled the session count in the SQL query despite prompting it not to. Model choice also matters too. In this project, I used Claude 3.5 Sonnet, but version 2 and 3.7 would likely handle edge cases much better. However, the latest models still have lower API rate limits, so I can process multiple images as efficiently as older models. And I use AWS Bedrock, by the way. You know, this might seem like a technical win, but it represents something much more important about generative AI in businesses today. What I mean is the most valuable AI applications today aren't always the flashiest ones, you know, the multi-agent connected to various MCP servers and more. But they're often these behind-the-scenes solutions that eliminate tedious work and free people up from doing what they're actually good at. For this clinic chain, the real value wasn't just the time saved. It was actually ensuring their staff could still focus on providing excellent client care during the system transition. So if you're thinking about how AI might help your business, consider these two takeaways that I've learned during the process. Number one, don't overcomplicate the solution. In my case, I literally just used 2 system prompts. Number two, just start small and iterate. Begin with a basic solution, then refine it along the way as you gain more insights and improve your results. So what's next is I'm really curious about other practical applications that other people might have implemented in their business. Have you used generative AI to automate a tedious process? Or found a creative way to apply it and solve an everyday problem? Just drop a comment below sharing experience or reach out directly. I would love to hear and share your story.